Am I coming?
Morning. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Make yourself comfortable.
Yes.
Let us know when you are ready.
Yes,
Ready?
yes, sir.
Janvi, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Sir, I'm Janvi. I'm Assistant Commissioner at State Tax Department, UP. I have done my engineering from NIT Kurukshetra in Electronics and Communication, and I'm from Lucknow. My hobbies include reflective writing, mandala art, coloring, and reading non-fictions.
Okay. Anything about your family?
So my father is right now retired government servant. He was additional commissioner grade 2 in my department itself.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And my mother is a housemaker.
So you're the only child?
No, sir. I have a brother. Okay. He is right now a software developer, okay. And he is right now working in Amazon in Bangalore.
In Bangalore.
Yes, sir.
I've generally seen Janvi. Many bureaucrats I interact with, on a more or less daily basis. There is always a comparison of salary with the MNC players. At the end of the day, it boils down to account में credit क्या हो रहा है. So, do you think is there any comparison between the software or for that matter IT industry as such and the government service?
So I think where you want to go, that depends how you see your future. That should decide whether you want to be in private or in government service. So I feel that once the basic needs are met, after that it's not about just the credit or the money aspect. And for me, the government service does that much. Yes, I also had an opportunity to go in that direction, but I found that it would be more fulfilling to work in private, in this government job. Yes, that's
right. Lal Bahadur Shastri is known to be one of the honest politicians that India ever had. Any story of his life you remember that portrays about his honesty? Post-independent India में आपने अगर पढ़ा हो, there was an incident when he found out that every month his wife is successfully saving 10 rupees from the salary. Then he wrote a letter to the government that his salary be reduced by 10 rupees. So we have had leaders like that. Take it. So
thank you, sir.
If it is the service motive, then yes, I'm very proud. Take it. Can you briefly tell me why India as a country failed to portray a picture of a friend in need for its neighborhood, especially when I see the benefactor countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, they do receive support from us, but at the end of the day they sing for China or for that matter any Western countries. Where do you see the failure of diplomacy here?
Sir, I would beg to differ here. It's not a failure of diplomacy as such. We have been a friend in need, be it the recent Sri Lankan crisis which was there, or even during COVID times, we were the first one to provide vaccines. So that aspect is not there. Yes, we have had challenges vis-a-vis China, which we can see even today playing out in Maldives. However, sir, I think this is more of a blip in a long history of stable relations with our neighbors. So I see it from that perspective. And also we have been trying to put neighborhood first and
trying neighborhood first policy.
Yes, sir.
Any effective measure as part of neighborhood first policy has government taken? Can you throw light on that?
So as I've already mentioned, during COVID times, we were the first one to provide vaccines to our neighbors.
But we did not provide it for free.
So, but at that moment, at that time, even providing vaccine was itself a big deal.
Okay.
So, from that perspective, yes.
When you try to define the relationship between two countries, What factors do you consider to establish the bonhomie between those two countries?
Sir, I would say largely aligned geostrategic interests, economic factors, then people to people, historical, cultural aspects. I think so. These three things broadly define. Sociology, sir.
Sociology. Right? Can you name any sociologist who spoke about women rights? Indian sociologist. What was Evan Srinivas' opinion about women rights?
So he stated specifically, I can say for dowry, he said that it is second. It's like a second sati.
Okay.
So he was in that way in support of women rights.
Can you name any recent three landmark judgments of the Supreme Court that went in favor of women rights?
Sorry, sir, I have to just recollect it. So the property, one aspect was that any ancestral home, women have part in that as well. Yes, sir. So that was there.
Women reservation bill was there.
Yes, sir. Women reservation
bill, the parliament had passed.
Yes, sir.
Supreme Court ka Bilkis Banu case is there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bilkis Banu case
yes,
is
yes,
there.
sir.
Jahnavi, tell me one thing. Why is it that the society is not ready to accept women as an equal partner? What is stopping the society from accepting women as an equal partner? Do you think now time has come that there is a competition between men and women?
So the relation between men and women have been of cooperation, competition, both, I would say. And largely in our society, it would be of cooperation only. But yes, there have been competition aspects to it, which can manifest, as you said, that not equal participation is given. So those aspects are there definitely, sir. But we have seen that largely in pre-independence, in this phase of our society, we have moved in the direction where women have more and more independence and are able to.
Pre-independence or post-independence?
Post-independence. Sorry, sir. Okay. Post-independence. We can see that we have moved in that direction.
But it is just an urban signature. Rural, still there is nothing like that. The women are not allowed to leave the house without any male accompanying them even today.
Yes, sir, these challenges are there. However, so women in rural areas have been working in fields from time immemorial, and also, sir, we have seen that SHG groups are being formed, and in that direction, employment is there.
In the journey of your UPSC preparation, which was your favorite subject from the GS point of view?
Sir, international relations I really liked.
You liked international relations?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me on what grounds India is claiming Aksai Chin to be part of India?
Sir, Aksai Chin was always a part of India, and
how do you say? Tomorrow you will say Tibet was also part of India. What is the ground? What is the official ground on which you claim Aksai Chin to be part of your country?
So
the Chinese say it is part of Xinjiang.
Sir, I cannot recollect the exact name of the line which was there, but
Johnson line.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Johnson line. So,
sir, but Johnson line, the Britishers themselves accepted that it was a cartographic error. They themselves accepted. After the Johnson line, McCartney-McDonald line was proposed, which the Chinese rejected.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying. I don't recollect the line, but yes, there are like two lines, and finally, which the Britishers and Chinese agreed upon at that moment, that got rejected by Chinese, and that they're rejecting now.
So can you tell me what is grand strategy?
So, vis-a-vis grand strategy
What
of
is the grand strategy? You
Uh,
said IR is a favorite subject. Concepts related to grand strategy. National interest, you know.
Yes, sir.
Now whatever the country employs to achieve its national interest is called grand strategy.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Whatever resources, be it military, be it economic, be it diplomatic, soft power, whatever. The grand strategy. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So just last question from the IR point of view only. Now that you said IR happens to be a favorite subject, don't you think India is being dragged into the conflict between US and China unnecessarily by its inclusion in Quad and any other platform where it is primarily anti-China in its orientation?
So we happen to be a neighbor of China. So and China itself would want to keep India boxed up in challenges of South Asia in general. And from that perspective, we will have to deal with China. So saying that yes, there is China-US rivalry right now, but I think it is kind of an opportunity for India to use this and leverage it to so as to develop ourselves. Thank you, sir.
Janvi, your optional is sociology.
Yes.
So, can you tell something? What is social engineering?
So social engineering is like
Because
changing. Yes, sir.
Basically, idea behind the question, because you also a BTech
Yes,
as an engineer,
Yes, sir.
and then a sociology being the option sociologist. So, can you explain this term?
Yes, sir. So social engineering is basically tweaking the policies or some other aspects so as to uh, by keeping the identity of people in mind.
Where we can find more about this?
Sir, as in?
Any scholar or any sociologist or any thinker
Who has used social
if
engineering?
the government wants to know about more social engineering.
The Pankar Gupta, sociologist, he has used this term social engineering in context of politics. Yes.
Have you heard the name of Roscoe Pound?
Sorry, sir. Could you-
Roscoe Pound.
No, sir. I'm not aware of it.
So you are also working as a commissioner, additional commissioner.
So, assistant commissioner.
Assistant.
Yes, sir.
So when GST,
Yes.
Constitutional Amendment Act passed, which is related with the GST.
Sir, 101st Constitutional Amendment Act,
Okay.
2017.
So when this Amendment Act is passed, certain states are also supposed to give their consent. Can you name which state gave the first consent and who is the first state? And what is the reason that while GST Amendment Act is passed, states' consent is also required?
So, given the federal polity of our constitution, here we had so the taxation comes in under both center and state. So, because GST was of nature where both center and state have to.
If something comes both center and state, then consent of state is required.
So, in GST we have this cooperative federalism aspect, because of which in GST Council the consensus.
And in other matter, where consent of state is also required, other than GST.
In all those issues where
here we can find more detail as a citizen of India that these are the only matters where half of the state must give their consent.
So, sir, when I cannot recall the exact article right now, but yes, in all those aspects where the amendment would impact the states as well. In that, we have to give consent to, like, 50% of states have to consent to it.
Where it is written?
So that's what I'm
okay.
Cannot
Who
recall.
said to be father or founder of GST?
Sorry, sir, I don't know about it.
Recently, there is a Amendment Act, Constitutional Amendment Act. Can you name that which is related with the rights of women?
Yes, sir, for women reservation bill that has been
What is the name?
sorry, sir, I cannot recall.
Okay, you also belong to a district that is Amethi,
Yes.
who is presently MP of, who is presently representing that Amethi state of Lok Sabha, Amethi seat of Lok Sabha.
So, Srimati Irani ma'am is there.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
she is also holding portfolio.
Yes,
Can
yes,
you
sir.
name?
Women and Child Development portfolio she's having.
Okay.
Yes. Smriti Irani. Yes, thank you, sir.
So we say today there is a news that in a court in Kerala granted death penalty. Those who are involved in the death of some leaders, they are student leaders. So acceptable, all are granted death penalty. Can you answer where death penalty can be granted, or what are those cases where court can give death penalty?
Sir, in Bachchan Singh case, this aspect of death penalty was clarified, where in rarest of rare cases, death penalty can be given. And so there are various conditions to it, but yes, sir, it is depends on case to case basis.
So what are the factors while a court granted death penalty be taken into consideration that it is the rarest of rare case?
So factors such as what was the intention behind it, the cruelty level, is there a scope of, like change in the person or the alleged criminal? So all those aspects were there.
Is it not a violation of but we can say basic of the law, because arbitrary comes in the court because he has to decide?
So there are many checks and balances within the system overall, and we have seen that play out in past that very few death penalties are ultimately awarded. So from that perspective, so I think that rarest of the rare case
When
holds.
this case decided, Bachchan Singh versus State of Punjab.
Sorry, sir, I cannot recall that.
So, do you in favor of death penalty?
So again, if it is of such an extreme situation, then I think, sir, it is fine if one has to do it.
Can you name any 2 or 3 offences where death penalty can be awarded or as a punishment prescribed in the law?
Sir, in Nirbhaya gang rape case, death penalty was given, and
My question is, what are offences if those committed, then there is a death penalty is one of the punishment?
yeah. So the offences when the death of extremity, like extreme conditions have happened, or when terrorism cases we have seen that death penalty is given. So yes, sir, in these aspects it is there.
Thank
you.
Okay, Janvi. Janvi, tell me about some celebrity name is Janvi.
Yes.
Which one?
So Janvi Kapoor.
Okay, a film actress. Okay, tell me something about earlier you said self-help groups.
Yes.
Recent government of India launched a scheme regarding the No Don't Didi scheme. What is that?
So here the self-help groups will be given a hand-holding of sorts, where the credit would be provided to them, and also training in order to use drones in agricultural aspects of rural areas. So from that perspective.
Okay, you're doing engineering in electronics and communication.
Yes, sir.
What is drone as a service? That means drone as a service. What is the concept of drone as a service?
So the concept as such is that like groups like these would have access, would have drones which can be accessed by different people. Either they can connect to them online or otherwise as well. So drone as a service is from that perspective.
Recently using 5G and 6G telecom services.
Yes.
So basic difference in 5G is 60 telecom service.
So, sorry, sir, I don't know the specificities, but when a shift from 5G to 6G would involve higher speed, more connection to different, like more devices can be connected, and that would also require um, more antennas and more optical cables. Yes.
Fine. Okay. There's something about the non-ionizing radiation from the telecom signals. Threat, are there non-ionizing radiation? Any threat from there?
Yes, so there are there is a conception that it may be a threat, and there may be some threats to it from it. However, sir, any studies, especially from TERAI itself, it has clarified that there is no such threat from non-ionizing radiations, and it is safe for humans.
तो nowadays आजकल फेस चलता है डेमोक्रेसी विदाउट अपोजिशन इन नेबरिंग कंट्रीज some of one of neighbor elections here democracy without opposition in which country you were that one?
So recently Bangladesh elections saw that, and there's allegations that this has happened in Bangladesh.
So Western countries find out not free and fair election. What do you think about it?
So there are two aspects to it. Yes, this is so Western media has been trying to portray their national interest, and their interests show is in trying to have Bangladesh in that light. So we have to keep that as in mind as well. And so Bangladesh, yes, opposition did boycott from that election. So that aspect is there, that fact is there. However, we have to keep this in mind as well.
Okay, you work as an assistant GST commissioner.
Yes.
Do you know the major issue regarding GST nowadays?
So basically there are 2-3 issues happening. Firstly, there is still a multiplicity of taxes, so many slabs are there, so that complexity can be reduced. Then there is many bogus registrations have happened in past. So now that they are coming to light, so yes, we have to recover from them whatever evasion have taken place. So that issue is there, and yes, so the compensation issue by states, that is another thing.
Please.
Yes.
Now, can you throw some light on your name, Janvi?
Sir, it's another name for River Ganga.
Another name, but what does the word Janvi mean?
Sir, actually, when Ganga descended on earth, it went through the river of Seth Jhanu. So Janvi is a daughter of Seth Jhanu. So from there it is derived.
Okay. There is a magazine also with the name of Janvi. It is published by someone in Chandewala. Anyway, now you have won prizes for book review.
Yes, sir.
So what kind of books do you review?
So in that particular case, I reviewed Atomic Habits by James Clear, and so it was basically a presentation which we had to give on it.
Okay.
Yes,
And coordinator in cultural events. So what is culture? Can you tell me? What is culture?
What is culture? So culture is both tangible and intangible aspects of society, which gives expression to it. So that can include its dance, food habits, dress, and intangible as in how people interact with each other, the dialect, all those aspects.
And religion is a part of culture or not?
Sorry, sir?
Religion.
Yes, sir. It is a part of culture.
Okay. So then you also indulge in reflective writing. What is reflective writing?
So reflective writing is taking into account whatever has happened and seeing how to assessing it, seeing what all could have been better, what in what direction one should move. So from that perspective, I do reflective writing.
And so, do you get published also?
No, sir.
No, okay. Then mandala art, coloring, and reading non-fiction. What is fiction and what is non-fiction?
So fiction is essentially any like story that one tells. Non-fiction is so other than that like fantasy thing, that is story thing. Other aspects are non-fiction, like anything that is be it economic, personality development, anything else other than the story.
Does fiction have any relation to reality also? I mean, which fiction is more popular? And why does a novel become more popular than others?
Yes, sir, I would say fiction is based on reality, and because any story that we can think of is ultimately derived from our environment and our societal reality which we are in. So that is there, and so
The feeling of, it could happen to me also.
yes, sir.
So only then a story or a fiction or a serial becomes popular,
Yes, sir.
that whatever is happening in the story or the serial, it could be my story also. It could happen to me also.
Yes, sir, definitely.
So it's only that which makes it popular. And your choice is IAS and IFS third. Now can you throw some light on the foreign policy of India?
So foreign policy of India is so we have always been a balancing power in the world, and our foreign policy is aligned in that direction, which takes into consideration our national interests. So from that perspective, be it a balance between US, China, or in West Asia, or neighborhood first. So all these aspects come.
I mean, self-interest,
Yes.
interest, of the nation. You see, Maharaja of Nepal offered that Nepal should become another state of India. But Nehru rejected the offer, saying कि मैंने दुनिया को शक्ल दिखानी है, and I won't accept you as another state. I am not an expansionist and things like that. All that nonsense he said. So do you believe that it was national interest which guided Nepal? If Nepal had been a part of India, then all these problems would not have been there. Now, Naxalites are working there in Bhutan, in Nepal, and they are pushing these countries away from India. They are working within the administration.
Yes, sir. So I do not know what considerations our former Prime Minister Nehruji had at that point of view, but I am sure, sir, if this consideration was there, this happened, then there must have been some national interests aligned. Which
He was more interested in his own image as a liberal person. But the same country, China is using Nepal against us. And also Maldives.
Sir, China is using it, that's true. However, sir, Nepal we have had this positive negative relation with Nepal from the very beginning, and even before independence, we have seen that Nepal and India, Nepal was a separate entity even then, and our relations with them were on both aspects. Like it was negative as well at times, and its leaders have at that time as well used India like it is using it in order to incite national feelings. So that has been their part of their political environment from the very beginning.
Okay. Thank you.
JAHNAVI, I have just 2-3 very small and very quick questions.
Yes.
Have you heard about this word palimony, which is in news nowadays? PALI, palimony, MONY.
Yeah.
Palimony.
So if you can give a clue about it, I would.
Related to couples who are not officially married.
So Like a live-in relationship of that sort. So I was not aware of palimony, but
Have
yes.
you heard of the word DINK?
Yes, a double income, no kids.
No kids.
Yes, sir.
What's your take on that?
Sir, it's I think at the end of the day, it is a personal choice.
Okay.
However, yes, the issue that is coming with DINK, the reasons why people are moving in that direction, because raising kid has become challenge today. It is very economically difficult for
Are
people.
there any protocols for like statute which talk about the basic parenting responsibilities? Protocol for babies in India? Have any idea?
So our fundamental duties, they have this aspect.
Statute, not the constitution.
Oh, sorry, sir, I'm not aware of that.
I want to know this from you, Janvi. Who, according to you, has been India's best Prime Minister till now, and why?
So I would say that every Prime Minister that has been there.
Take one and give me reason. Diplomacy अच्छी बात है, but हर बात में diplomacy तो फिर अच्छे नहीं.
Sir, because sir, I would say because I am more like aligned, like have been politically more aware of things recently. So I would say, sir, our current Prime Minister,
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And if I may know, when was the last when you felt you were the happiest, and the reason?
So I think it's a New Year time. I was really happy.
I thought it was interview call. Okay, चल
Thank you,
कोई
sir.
बात नहीं. चल good Janvi, your interview is over. You can relax now. I'll give you very quick feedback. ठीक है? Is this the final dress you're planning to wear the day of?
No, sir.
You'll wear a saree.
I'll wear a saree, yes, sir.
The date has come.
Yes, sir, 13th March.
13th of March. The time has 40-45 days there. Okay. How have your parents received the news of you getting a call for interview?
So they were expecting it.
Expect.
Yeah,
So they were confident कि हमारा बच्चा तो लाखों.
No, not like that, sir, but still, they were, like my mains was that. They were
Good.
expecting.
Your mains went well.
Yes, sir. They were expecting.
This is your first main
No, sir, this is my fifth mains. This is my
Fifth
fifth
main.
attempt. It's the fifth mains.
interview,
Third interview.
third interview.
Yes.
What's going wrong?
So my sociology marks there and also interview marks, both of it went
कहीं
down.
ना कहीं आपके इंटरव्यू में मुझे थकावट दिखे. Maybe you're tired of this mock interview,
No, sir.
followed by interviews, followed by prelims, then mains, then again mock interview. It was visible to me.
Okay.
It was visible to me. Try to hide it.
Okay.
You're how old? You are
27.
96 born, 27, 38,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
A person of your age, थोड़ा energy,
okay, sir.
and early part of the day.
Yes, sir.
I know it is cold, but still, ठीक है?
Yes.
थोड़ा, right? Because all those who are sitting across the table, 58 plus, you
Yes,
can
yes.
take it that way.
Yes.
ठीक है? So they would expect some positive. बाकी your questions were fairly okay. A couple of sir related questions, father of GST. आपको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का थोड़ा अच्छे से तैयारी करनी पड़ेगी.
Yes.
ठीक है, क्योंकि सर वाज आस्किंग कंसेंट ऑफ द स्टेट, जीएसटी रिलेटेड, वो थोड़ा अच्छे से आप उसको करिए, बिकॉज जीएसटी से दूर दूर से भी ताल्लुकात कुछ भी होगा,
जी सर.
यू हैव टू बी अवेयर बिकॉज यू आर नाउ द ऑफिस होल्डर ऑन दैट डोमेन, राइट? सो दे मे आस्क यू सम ट्रिकी क्वेश्चंस, बी रेडी फॉर दैट. बजट को अच्छे से आप पढ़ के जाइए, जीएसटी रिलेटेड लॉट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन विल कम टू बजट, ठीक है, बिकॉज आपका टाइम है. ठीक, डेथ पेनाल्टी की फेवर की जब बात हो रही है,
जी सर.
सर इज आस्किंग आर यू इन फेवर. सी क्या हो रहा है, माय ऑब्जर्वेशन, आपको इंटरव्यू में पिछले दोनों बार कितने मार्क्स मिले?
सर लास्ट टाइम 160 मिले थे.
160.
जी,
उससे
सर.
पहले
सर 151 थे.
150.
जी सर.
ठीक है, क्या होता है ना जानवी, एट टाइम्स यू हैव टू टेक स्टैंड.
जी सर.
सी ब्यूरोक्रेसी में इंडिसाइसिवनेस इज द बिगेस्ट चैलेंज.
जी सर.
People are not ready to take decisions because of fearing ramifications of decisions, right? So बोला अपना काम है ABCD policy, avoid, bypass, confuse, delay, extend, forget, Z तक है, ठीक है. Z तक अगर है इसका मतलब the system per se is victim of something. तो उसको भी थोड़ा रिफ्लेक्ट. There is nothing wrong if you are in favor, nothing wrong if you are against, but hold a stand of yours which reflects you as a person. Nothing wrong. ठीक है. If you feel that होना चाहिए sir, heinous of the heinous crime, somebody has killed 3-year-old girl, raped her, killed her, he deserves to be punished. If you feel so, you tell that. ठीक है. Or if you feel sir the essence of justice system is retribution, it is bringing a spirit of what you call penance. If you feel so, you tell. ठीक है. 5G 6G.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है.
Definitely, sir.
आपको democracy without opposition, okay. Issues surrounding GST, okay. Drone concept is primarily a pilotless.
Yes, sir.
That's the idea of drone. ठीक है.
Yes,
थोड़ा उस पे because drone rules have come very recently. उसको भी आप अच्छे से because entire आपने क्या कहा international relations.
जी सर.
जब मैंने कुछ सवाल पूछे आपसे आया से हर जगह ड्रोन का now it become a medium of doing something.
Yes, sir.
तो थोड़ा उससे अच्छा. Sir asked you foreign policy of India का basic features.
जी सर.
What is the basic feature of Indian foreign policy? If you have to tell only one, what is the basic feature of Indian foreign policy?
So it is मतलब like it is aligned with national interest, so that aspect is there.
उसको साइड में.
Okay.
उसके अलावा is not non-violence a part of your foreign policy?
Yes, sir.
Is not Vasudeva Kutumbakam a part
Yes,
of your
sir.
foreign
Yes,
policy?
sir.
Is not peaceful coexistence a part of your foreign policy?
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा revise करो. I am
Okay.
sure you will revise.
Yes, sir.
The moment you will say IR,
Mm-hmm.
you are 28, 27,
Yes, sir.
26, ठीक है.
Mm.
जो 5 लोग बैठे हैं 35 into 5, 175.
Right, sir.
So it is 26 versus 175.
Right, sir.
So try to match them in some
Yes,
way. ठीक है. बाकी नेपाल का इतिहास बहुत बड़ा है. When you go back to Ranas of Nepal, what Sir was trying to tell, I guess geostrategic implications were there when Nehru was offered to take Nepal, because that was a time when Nepal did not come to India just के भाई बंदी में अच्छा मुझे आना चाहिए. The moment Tibet was getting captured, he feared his own existence. That is why he wanted to come to India, not because he wanted to come. ठीक है. इसको ये लगा कि अगर इंडिया में आऊंगा तो कम से कम हिंदू राष्ट्र तो बना रहेगा टाइप. That was the intention. So those dimensions of history you can.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Just one or two points. Social engineering means when law can be applied in shaping and improving the society.
Yes.
So in legal field, every lawyer, every judge is an engineer. So how an engineer study a machine, a lawyer study the law.
Yes.
As engineer find where is the friction and where is the loss of energy is coming. So conflict is resolved and new outcomes to be bring. So there is a very close link with the person Durkheim, Auguste Comte disciple, and Roscoe Pond is. So your subject is also a BTech and also a sociology.
Unique blend.
So try to find it is, I think, what. Then there is Article 368 where clause 2 and have a proviso. Where list is given that what type of features are provision where consent of half of the state is required.
Right.
And from that provision can capture the whole idea of
Yes.
it. Thank you. Keep it up.
One thing on my side. You are asked from NIT Kurukshetra,
Yes, sir.
Premium Institute of India. So regarding tech knowledge,
Yes.
there's no compromise on that.
Right, sir.
Okay. Even 5 or 6 years after passing, but आपको knowledge होना चाहिए.
Right.
Like communication engineer you have.
Yes.
Nowadays communication already told you. So communication is a product question. But we chicken for myself. So
I think that you are a perfect candidate. There is no problem.
You are a strong candidate. But कहीं न कहीं आप सब समझ में आ गई. Starting में समझ में आ गई. ठीक है. So
Sir,
on that day, don't reflect that. It's human. I'm sure all your mock interviews combined, your UPSC interviews combined, 10-12 दौड़ दे दिया होगा.
sir, और हो गया.
और ज़्यादा हो गया. So you tired. I can understand that. ठीक है. But on that day, D-Day, थोड़ा enthusiasm,
Right.
थोड़ा
Right, sir.
ठीक है, उसको अच्छे से आप दिखाएंगे तो आई एम श्योर, बट सी इंफॉर्मेशन गैप इज फेलियर, आपको नहीं पता 5 से 6 इट्स ओके, बट डेथ पेनल्टी पे आपका विचार क्या है, आपको जवाब देना पड़ेगा, राम मंदिर पे आपका विचार क्या है, आपको जवाब देना पड़ेगा, हियर यू कैन नॉट लीड दे आर लुकिंग फॉर अ लीडर इन, ठीक है, बाकी ट्रस्ट मी, आपने जैसे यहाँ पे परफॉर्म किया, जस्ट ट्राई टू नॉट बी डिप्लोमेटिक एट टाइम्स इट इज गुड, बट एट टाइम्स नॉट टू बी डिप्लोमेटिक, आई एम श्योर यू विल टच 180, यू विल टच 180, ठीक है, और अगर आपने मेन्स अच्छा किया तो श्योर विल सी यू एज अ नाइस ऑफिसर,
Thank you,
ठीक
sir.
है,
Thank you,
चलो स्टे ब्लेस्ड।
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.